What's up? Back again. For No Fame, movie Decode. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Being that this Diddy stuff going on, being that it's the Diddy trial, being that the industry is over with, it's a shift. You know, black entertainment had a run. It had its run. Blacks were the most dominant in this game, but their time has come to an end. So I had to say that these things it has always been like this. The only thing I'm noticing is that this generation, I'm talking about the generation under the category of rap music, that one department of this whole industry, it seems to me to be the only department that does not want to accept the rules and regulations for black entertainers. I can't speak on all, but every procedure of black entertainment has always been right in your face. They're going to get money. They're going to get fame. They're going to perform. Everybody's going to love them. But when it's all done, they're going to be embarrassed, broke, finished, drug head, ashamed of themselves, cannot sustain a relationship. Those are all the ones that get turned out. This turning out procedure is a process. It's history. It's always been like that. This was one of my best movies of the industry. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Yes, because the man that played the role of the executive, Adam Levy, he's for real. He's a real character. And his son ran a real record label. His son also ran a rap record label. But I'm not going to go there today. So, this is a movie I always knew about. That's the problem. A lot of people are so wrapped up in entertainment, but they never knew the history of entertainment. This is why people are in 2025 and do not comprehend what this thing called entertainment is. See, it was a time when it wasn't people's life. It was a time when people wanted to be down with it. It was a time when people was told to stay away from it, don't do it. But they wanted it so bad. They wanted it so bad. But it was a system set up. So when you come knocking on that door of fame, they got a whole procedure for you. You call it selling your soul. I call it the industry procedure. All right? That's just what it is. Movie Decode, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? All right, that's why I tell people get back into movies. It's generations of y'all. You have not seen none of these movies. You've been watching so many fake movies, and these are all the movies they didn't want y'all to watch anyway. All the movies of truth that came out already, they don't want you to watch. What I mean is you have to pay for it, or you better catch it when it come on. All the movies of truth already came out. American history is explained through American content, movies, TV shows. The signs and symbols were always in the film. So let's go, which is one of a classic movie because it has top actors. It has good actors. Y'all know Vivica Fox. Okay, that's when she started out. You know, you got Halle Berry, Clifton Powell. Great acting, great actors. Also, this is when I learned that when I said stuff like, only time you're going to see yourself is in the past. Because I've seen a lot of movies of the past. And that's how I learned a lot. But it's the truth that whether I say Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Cadillac Records, same movie, same thing. They all are the same, y'all. Because it's going to always end the same. So being that the world is talking about p.diddy, Cassie, or freakoffs, they don't comprehend these freak-offs have always went down because the secret of the industry is the blacks were the ones to freak off and be freaked off and passed around when it was strictly white executives, white entertainers. It is the executives that set the standard, the man in the chair, the one that get a contract. He's the one that set the tone. But if you would have saw these movies, a lot of y'all would have known. All right, it's all in the movie. When they show you, when that manager going to take those boys to see that executive to get the deal. And they're going to perform. But back then, they liked when them little boys perform and sing. They like that when they sing and dance. Yeah. Everything y'all talking about in Hollywood now, everything you heard about, whatever do you think it is? You hear about all this freaky stuff, right? Just know that is Hollywood. It's what it always been. And it's always people that knew the game. Now I want you to think about this procedure that always went down. It was always people in neighborhoods, in poor communities, always looking for talent. People always look for poor talent. Get it? Always looking for talent in the worst conditions of neighborhoods. They don't look for talent in suburbs. They don't look for talent for rich kids. They specifically go to every single ghetto in America to scout talent. Now, also, I'm talking about old procedure. All right, it's over with now. So I'm talking about the past. This is what they did. They made sure when people didn't understand that everything runs off a system. So that means they specifically will go where the highest welfare rates, the highest homeless rates, the highest bad rates of these communities, and they will go pick out their diamond, which will be called that star, that one with talent. They understood that if you had talent, and the more you were mesmerized with this industry, you're going to go and get on this journey. You're going to become. So you kept hearing these stories about every single one of these people was somehow in the church. Some kind of way you keep hearing behind every celebrity, or when I say these singers, you always hear about they started singing in the church. Because that's where their voice is at, because it was said that some people are born with it. It is said that God gives people these gifts, and they have these gifts to sing. But it's people that know that. They've been knew that. That's why they would go to churches to find the best singers, because they always knew the best singers in the church, because they also know people that sing, get it? Sing for their God, sing the best, sing from the heart, sing pure. Certain things they knew. They know when you sing religiously, there's certain notes you're going to be hitting. There's certain things going to come out your body. They knew that. So they always knew those are the best singers they want. So it was a procedure. It was a procedure. Record executives back then, y'all, would go sit in the church to hear you sing. They were going to church to hear you play the piano back then. That's what a lot of y'all just don't get. When I tell you all of this is American history. See that? You don't know American history, so you never knew music. You just thought it was whatever. I'm talking about to everybody. Everybody got a department. All right? The whole concept of why do fools fall in love, now I'm going to give it the aspect of why do fools fall in love with the industry. Even though they got all the proof of the abuse, you're going to be broke, all of that, right? So is it a coincidence to this day, the biggest people you ever heard of that made it in this present day, from LeBron James, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Diddy, we're going to keep going. But the point is, you see, it's not a coincidence. These so-called successful people of fame, somehow their name is being tarnished. Because in this game, it is never no promise you're going to leave out clean, or you're going to leave out perfect, or you're going to leave out better than you came in. There's no proof of that. But let's get into it. The man to the right, that's the manager. He's the one that find that poor black man, that poor black boy, whatever, in the neighborhood. He finds the talent. He scouts the talent. He's the one in the community. He scouts. He's looking for his next bag. He's looking for his come up. He's already tied in with the executives. He's already tied in with the industry. Look at him as a fisher. His job is to go to the hood and catch the best fish, which is the talent. So in Why Do Fools Fall in Love, it is actually the Frankie Lymon story, a true story, all right, about a young man that became a superstar. And it shows you the whole procedure. How you're going to always see this. The group, they come as a group, but they always just want that one person. It's in every story. It's even in Beyonce's story, Destiny Child. It's in every story. James Brown had a group first. They all have groups first. If I'm not mistaken, Lil Richie had a group first. I don't know. They always have groups first. But they always pick their favorite. Diddy had the locks. His favorite was Jadakiss. All right? It's always like that. All right? So let me show you. It comes from the executives. So let's go. This is a game that's been played for damn near 100 years, y'all. So it's that black man gonna want his cut off the deal. He's the manager. Well, you heard about youngsters being sold. You heard about certain youngsters being abused, and they were handed off by managers because the manager finds them. You heard about a rapper named Meek Mill was found in the streets of Philly by this manager, and he brought him to somebody else. You heard about how these managers, when I heard the story, Chris Brown said out his mouth how he met Diddy early because his manager took him. Chris Brown was a teenager. The manager is the disguise, the help with the talent. No, he's the one that get him to that executive. He's called the what? Middleman. He gonna get his cut. You just look at it, it's simple and plain. You go to the nearest ghetto near you. You make sure you find somebody with talent, but also make sure they're starving, make sure they don't have nothing, and you make sure you pick that one right there. Now, you see how easy that was? It didn't cost you a penny. Now, you're going to take that same person you found, and you're going to sell them and get a nice cut. But it's going to be called a contract and a deal. You're the manager, you're going to get your cut. Really, you just sold them, you ain't never got to see them again. Pipeline, that's how it works. All right? It's the black man that understood he can get a nice check when he find that talent and bring them to that white man. So we talking about the 50s and 60s now. All right? This when there was no such thing as no black executive, no such thing as none of that. They were just happy to get a damn job and ready to do whatever. So when you're looking at this right here, you're looking at when they go see the executive and they're in the office and they're trying to get the deal. And they're performing for the boss, the executive, the CEO. And you will see how automatically it was showing you how the men were turning to boys. The men were turning to little boys. They were turning to little youngsters. They would be so happy and they would be so ready for this deal. Mind you, the executive knows all this. He's just sitting back like, yeah, rubbing his hands. He knows already. And when I say it's a procedure in the pipeline, people didn't comprehend that the executive sits in the chair, and this happens every day in the industry. It was a time, especially when rap was blowing up, when rap was big, rap. This was happening every day. People wanting deals every day. Yeah, but this the point. See that executive right there? You see his head? I tried to catch the good footage because this was live, right? You're going to see him looking at him singing. He's looking directly at the one he likes. He was looking strictly at Lorenz Tate, a.k.a. Frankie Lymon. He was looking straight at him from the rip. And it was showing you that even though they might come as a group, they already got their favorite from the rip or the one they like. So from the rip, when you watch the movie, you'll see the executive was lusting. He was lusting, looking straight at him like, yeah, I like that one right there. Yup. But they didn't know when there was as time went on, he was going to make him be the solo act anyway because he never wanted the rest of the group. It was always like that. They would sign everybody. It was a trick. They would already know, we don't want your group. We don't need your group. First of all, you're getting jerked. All right? You're getting jerked, so we don't need all these people in it. And that's how it's going to be. And then that's how they would do it. Let them sign the paperwork. Let them get in because they knew some groups, if he's the lead singer and he really with his group, he's not going to sign. If he was thorough, if he was loyal, he wouldn't sign. Well, if you're going to sign I'm not going to sign. So they started tricking him. Wow, we'll sign you all. Whole time already know we ain't putting their name on the record. We ain't giving them nothing. Like they told James Brown, if you want to keep your band, you're going to pay him out your pocket. That's how it was. We just dealing with you. So what you going to do? And that's where the sellout comes to, y'all. The sellout comes, now I keep telling you, they know what they be doing. It's always going to be, it's measures, it's points. It's not everything happens at once. So even though they come in naive, they always going to get hit with these roadblocks. Like when the man says, we just want you. We don't want your group. So what you going to do? And then the selling out is, some of them, they know damn well their group helped them. They also know sometimes people in the group better than them, but that's the point when they turn their back on their group and sign their contract. So it's a lot of reasons why they sell their soul and sell out. They also sell out on their day ones. And that's why a lot of them be jinxed. Like I said, it's all in the movie, but this is Black Hollywood, period. Mainly the entertainment game. All right? It's just that it went from jazz to rock and roll, R&B, hip-hop, all this other stuff. People didn't want to comprehend that this has been a whole procedure. And the biggest secrets were only nowadays. Because in a world of everything had to be so tough, hard, and masculine, the biggest secret had to be the behavior that these black entertainers had to do. Because they also had a job to do, which was sell tough images. All right? They had to make money off tough images. They had to make fake, masculine things believable, whether through music or movies. So they had to play extra roles and hide it. And like I say, the only reason why this was a big secret in the so-called community is because everybody in this community comes from the church. So it really was a big secret kept from the church. That's all it was. That's all it was. Even though people from the church knew, because they knew what it was. But the secret was kept from the church. When they came back home, they was ashamed because their people was in the church. That's why they was ashamed. That's why it was all this shh. Because they know when they went back home, and if their whole family was into the church, that was a lot of secrets they had to cover up. That was a lot of shame. Shh. That's where it all come from. Remember, in that community, it's always about secrets. And when the secrets is always about covering up dirt. They whole shit is based on covering up secrets of dirt. Shh. Not precious jewels, not knowledge and wisdom, not good stuff. No, tell all the good stuff, cover up all the dirt. That's them. So they were the most ashamed of themselves. Because when we look at the whole Hollywood, it don't matter. If you wasn't raised in no church, you ain't gonna be ashamed like that. If you wasn't raised any type of form of religion, you're not gonna be ashamed of yourself. It was them that had to be the most ashamed. So to this day, it is the most shameful. It is the most covered up. It is the most laughing, joking with freak off. But it's what they've been doing for over 50 years. Period. It's the procedure. Everybody knows. It's just that the big secret was on that community and those families of relatives that was so much into religion, they were the ones not supposed to know. But it's out now because it's 2025. I'm saying that because why do fools fall in love? This is a movie. It's a good movie because whenever it come on, I can watch any part of it because it shows you, y'all, how they get the money. How they be hungry for the money at first. They get the money. You're going to fall out with their day ones. Now listen to everything in rap. You're going to fall out with your day ones. You're going to have these female problems. Can't keep a woman. They could be bad. All of them could be perfect. They all could be perfect 10s, and you still won't be able to keep a woman. You're going to get drugged out. This is where the sex, drugs, rock and roll come from because you're not going to be in that industry without drugs. People didn't comprehend that we're still talking about opioid crisis. Opioid go back then. They were shooting with needles back then. All right? It always been sex, drugs, rock and roll because they always understood that you get that perfect individual out there, church, and then you fill them up with the opposite, a lot of filth. You fill him up with dope in his veins. Let him sing to the people when he got dope in his veins. Man, they knew all these high sciences back then, and it's in the movie. All right? It's in every movie. That's right. Because the whole purpose of the industry for some people was to make the money, turn them out, and to teach the behavior, spread the behavior to their communities, spread it. This is their new gospel. They was in the church singing gospel. We have introduced them to the new gospel. That's what it is. So now you're watching the part, because I'm going to speed it up. Movie Decode. See? It's showing you the desperation for the deal. The desperation for the deal. In the office, acting less than a man. Acting like he's willing to do whatever. You see his mouth open? That's what that represents. Now, mind you, the executive is looking straight at him, and he likes him. Now look at the manager to the left, the dark-skinned one. He's very happy because he knows he's trying to sell his ass. He's trying to sell him. He's trying to get his cut. You like him? Yeah. That's what it's all about. All right? So you see right here, the executive was zooming in on him, looking all in his mouth. That's what that was about. All right? So as you see, they want to see his opinion. They want to see if they're going to get signed. And once they found out they got signed, and once they found out he liked them, that's it right there, y'all. See that pen in his hand? That's where it starts. That's where it starts. So it ain't no force. So you also know I've been talking about Little Richard. I forgot Little Richard in the movie. So Little Richard was on it yesterday. And like I said, at the end of the movie, Little Richard said, I don't know what's wrong with none of them. He said they never gave us nothing. That's what he said, straight like that. Because they knew a time. Because remember, also back then, y'all, if you came back to ask for your money, you're going to be found missing. So it was like that too. If you come back asking for your money, talking that junk, because in the end, that's what Frankie Lymon did. That's what he did. In the end, when he was broke, down, dirty, he was all messed up. He started going back to the executive, talking smack about he wanted his money. He started talking all this junk. Next thing you know, he got found slumped. Like a lot of entertainers you heard to this day. Y'all didn't get to this day where this stuff come from. Y'all talking about Whitney Houston in the tub. Y'all talking about Prodigy found in hotels. This stuff always went on. He got found slumped. Sam Cooke got found slumped. It always been like that. You just didn't accept your generation. You kept thinking this stuff was so special for you. No, it's a procedure. It's a system. It's going to end up bad for you. And the more famous you are, the worse it's going to be. So, you see the deal. Let's fast forward to after the deal when things go bad. And he's a fiend. He lost his shine. It also shows you that their mind be altered. It also shows you how in this game, they lose themselves. They start doing all type of stuff because they get turned out. The secret is they get turned out because the executives play with them. Now, when I talk about pink program, I talk about this pink code of black entertainment. You see the executive? He's the only one with a pink shirt on. The only one. Showing you that he's the one that's going to spread that pink. He's the one going to spread it. He's the one that's going to have fun with that person he signed for that deal. Because the deal ain't sealed till he have his fun. And when it's done, he going to be the one to make them pink. And that's how it worked. And this before anybody was in the seat, before y'all was even sniffed in the game. This before you were happy to just even get looked at. All right? With all this cockiness, all this arrogance, and people acting like they created this game and they bigger than thou and they just run it. No, you don't run nothing. They played this thing called we're going to let y'all run it. But before that, we already broke all y'all in. It's a system. All right? That pink shirt means he's the one that does it all of them. All right? They're going to have their fun. In this game back then, every executive in power was with the hanky-panky. That's right. That's right. Even to this day, you will know that Russell Simmons did not own Def Jam. It was owned by Rick Rubin. Russell Simmons was the face. That's right. We're going to get into that another time. But I want y'all to see movie Decode. All right? Now it's showing you. After them executives tickle you with those toys, after those executives touch on you, rub on you, when you're nice and young, when they like you, they like them young. It's in the movie, y'all. Mind you, the group was called The Teenagers. Name of the group, The Teenagers. And he looked like a little boy, a teenager. This is when they first started to market the youngster stuff. This is when they first started having grown-ups at young. It's the same thing as what? Eazy-E formula, right? You didn't notice Eazy-E was marketed as a 15-year-old. He's a grown-ass man. Eazy-E had a handler. His name was Jerry Heller. But you saw this black guy named Eazy from Compton become a star, but he still had this white man with him wherever he went because that always been the game. That's right. A lot of them, they get dealt with early because I keep telling you, they like them when they're young. So you could be looking at Eazy-E, a gangster crip from L.A., but you ain't knowing Eazy-E could have been a young boy, 13, 14, 15, and he was already hanging around them Hollywood executives, meaning they were already giving him money, already fond of him. I told you, Hollywood was a pipeline for Los Angeles as well. All right? They always had access to youngsters. It's been like that because the executives love the youngsters. They love the youngsters. They the ones love them. But It's a behavior that was taught and spread. And that's why you got Diddy in the seat now in jail. All right? And many others. R. Kelly, you pick one. Russell Simmons. It's a procedure that they got passed on to. I'm telling y'all what happened. Look at it like this. All the perverts, all the Geppettos, all the ones that was really about that life, and they was slaughtering the whole black entertainment. I'm talking about sticking their thing in them, doing all type of stuff. Look at it like they had all their fun. They spread their seed, and then they all left. Y'all gonna handle it now. Meanwhile, their seed, their behavior, their ways is already all deep in their souls. Get it? And they just always able to leave. Now they also knew that man with that pink shirt knew. This is what the executives always knew. Once they put their spirit in them, they would put that spirit into their community and into their people. And that was the whole science of the music and the energy of you following these celebrities. They know if you follow the superstar, you're going to be exactly like him and you're going to do everything. And that's why they always knew it was very important. So a lot of y'all been on this internet. You heard of stories a long time ago, 10 years ago, about how they do all this stuff over the music. They do all this stuff, you know, they do certain rituals and witchcraft over the music, right? No, that's not just it. The witchcraft is that man with that pink shirt going to put his witchcraft in that man. He's going to put his spirit in his spirit. He's going to put his spirit in him. It's going to be called semen. And his spirit is going to go in him, and it's going to change him. It's going to change those black celebrities, but they're going to become your heroes. And then their spirit, through that microphone and through those beats, is going to go in you. And that's how it works. It's called alchemy. All right? They know about spirit. It's the same thing when I talk about Geppetto, the puppet master. The string is the rod that the executive puts in the artist. Once the executive puts the string in the artist, he always controls him. He will always control him. So the CEO, the executive, the rich man puts the string in the artist and controls him, and then the artist controls you. And that's called the show. That's called the following trend. That's called, oh, I like this person. I like this one. And you become a follower, but you don't know the puppet master controlling the whole thing, and it's being controlled by a rod. All right? That's right. That's what it's about. It's just that your generation of people, this whole thing of this perfection of black entertainment supposed to be so perfect and flawless, they the ones just didn't want you to know the truth of the Hollywood procedure. And it's not nothing to hide. It's just that they figure a lot of y'all was dumb and stupid, and you just wouldn't get it because these movies came out already, and they also knew you wouldn't do your own research. This also why you had to be kept in this bubble, so you wouldn't study nothing outside of black. But inside of black is where all the lies are at. That's right. So even though it's going to be truth, because Hollywood put this movie out, that's why it's truth in it. That's why they telling you. How they will tell you what's going to happen to you before it happened. Also proof your life is scripted. So if we talk about every celebrity that's black that fell off right now, is it a coincidence? No. When I said that most of them will be on YouTube and podcasting and they're on their way out of here, it's because I know the Hollywood procedure. I know if you don't have a certain amount of money put up, if you don't have a certain structure, you're going to be finished because they always showed you what's going to happen. All right? He got turned out on drugs. Now they're turned out on social media. That's it. The whole concept of this game they play is when they're done with you, you're never going to have a normal life. So whether your career is over and you just podcast and YouTube every day, long as you're not married, having kids and living your life and having fun and building businesses, they don't care what you do. But the point is, it's always going to end bad for them. They always going to have to work to the day they die. If they do got something, they're going to work to the day they die. Stuff like that. Yes. Now you also will see, let's go. Now you see, let's go to the movie Decode now. You see how he got on the pink shirt, the executive, the one with the bag. So when I said you're going to be pink, that's why you're going to be pink. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. If you want that money, you want to be on that TV, that's what you're going to do. And then, especially back then, when it was a crime for masculinity to be in front of certain people. It was not their job to pay you, make you a superstar, make you a heartthrob, make everybody love you, and you're really being yourself, you're being masculine, you're really a ladies' man, you can take. No. I'm going to say it like this. Those men that were punks, so that man in the pink shirt, he was a punk. But see, the only way they was able to be comfortable with you around their woman is that they had to know for a fact they stuck something in you. You was their woman. You only got to be in front of their woman when you became their woman. It's the same thing as the swinging concept. It's the same thing of, hey, we'll swap our woman. You could have my woman, I have yours. It's the same scenario. You can be in front of our woman only if we can turn y'all into woman. And that was the law. That was the code. That was, you might as well say that was the secret. Y'all could have our woman, but y'all have to be our woman. Are you getting it? That's the Hollywood procedure. Ain't nothing you're going to do about it. All right? It's just that you are supposed to know. Now, also, movie Decode. People on this channel, I told you, whatever's going on in the real world, these movies will always be released. Whether new or old, movies always, whether it's on TV, don't matter. Hollywood runs the show. Entertainment is run a certain way. Whenever it's a certain season, whenever it's certain signs, whenever certain things going on, these movies will be released. So you'll see, being that Diddy trial is the biggest thing smoking, the industry for black entertainers, right? Diddy represents black failure at the end. Frankie Lymon went through this. He failed. He was a dope head. 75 years later, same thing. So that's why they dropped the movie, all right? Because this was going on right now. It's also why the fools fall in love with the industry, because they tell you fools want to be in this game so bad, but when it's all said and done, they're going to get used and abused. They're going to be broke. They're going to complain about who did this to them, that did that to them, this and that. No, but they really was telling you they all fools because they don't know what they're dealing with. The fool is the one that never know what he's dealing with. The fool is the one that go and shit blind. That's the fool. When you go in that music industry blind, you the fool. That's why I say the real people that go in that game, they know about it. They studied it, know exactly what they got to do. They're going to play it right, and they're going to play it right. The fool always ends up bad. So, as you see, this after he got turned pink. See? This is the scene at the end when it's showing you. At this after his fame is gone. After he was used and abused by them executives. It shows you that they couldn't get right. It's a reason why he had to be on dope. They don't tell you that. Because they be getting their back broke, y'all. They was destroying him. He young. He was small. So I'm not playing with you. It's a reason why those rappers to this day and all that was on them Percocets. Anybody know about back pain? Anybody know about any type of pain in lower back section? That's why they be on them perks. Because they be getting destroyed, y'all. They was getting destroyed. I'm not playing with you. Especially back then. Because it was warfare on them. Fruity men having fun with them. And not only that, they knew the art of buck. All it was buck breaking, y'all. It was all buck breaking. That's the secret. The biggest secret is also, which I hear about this buck breaking stuff, is that the sex bondage was the buck breaking, and it's for real. That when you see them bent over with the chest and they got the shit over their neck and they got their arms bent, that's the official buck breaking. It's for real. Because that is the only way they had a system of the only way you will control one of them. All right? So you will see the pink background showing us he was pink. He was turned out. The industry had their fun with him. Turned him out. He's on dope. He can't function. His mind is bad. See? The mind is bad because you still having visions of 5 men putting you in a train. You know what I'm saying? You still having these visions. Back then, they was the ones that are freak off, guys. Huh? The black entertainers were the ones getting freaked off on. So you got to look back when the game was racist and they didn't have no say-so. They the ones that was getting freaked on and freaked off. So it started to get them mental issues. Because now they still was getting jerked, cheated. The procedure also was. That was part of it. They're going to stick so much in you that when you do decide to come for your money or want to stand up, you ain't going to have a leg to stand on because you're going to be blackmailed. And they're going to have dirt on you. And that's how it's going to be. All right? And that's how it always been, y'all. So it's a lot of reasons why they couldn't get their money. There's a lot of you might well say that they were being extorted, y'all. That's why you got these laws in play. They would extort them. You know how sextortion is the biggest crime? You know everything Diddy's in jail for now? They was doing it back then. You're ruined because what made it so powerful of the extortion, y'all, they knew that these people came from the church. So, being that they knew they came from the church, y'all, they know really it was nothing you could say. They knew that. They knew it was really nothing you could say. They knew once you did something you was not supposed to be doing, they had so much dirt on you, you couldn't say nothing. So they was able to take your money, and you couldn't say nothing because you had an option. Okay, do you want to fight for your money? You want to end up dead? Or do you want your family to know about these secrets on you, on what y'all been doing? It's always been like that. Bringing up the date, that's everything in the Diddy trial. So when they went in the house and pulled out all those dildos, $700,000 baby, all they were doing was telling us the Hollywood procedure that Frankie Lymon and everybody else went through, y'all. It's just that somehow this generation became the most stupidest, and the ones that did want to acknowledge it, that it hurt their heart to understand that everybody they loved in this game was pink. All right? Everybody they loved in this game had to get down. Now, whether they got flipped all the way out, whether some of them came back home and just playing a role, that's one thing. But in the beginning, if they're a superstar, yes, they will. They're going to all get dealt with, y'all, to get those millions. That's the game. And the plan is to leave with nothing. So, being that you heard about Kanye lost money, you hear about Diddy losing his billions, that's the proof. It's not a coincidence. They're always going to lose their money. The question is, are they going to lose it all? See? Turned out. Dopehead. Diddy. Whoever. All right? See? Now he's with the woman. He can't function. She don't want his ass no more. Because he was on that dope. Why are you on the dope? Because them executives turned him out. Also, they got to take their mind on stuff. So it ain't just for the pain. It's for the pain in their back, spine, and it's for the pain in their head. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to visualize it. When they got to look people in the face and they can't do it. That's why they walk with dark shades 24/7, 24/7. Get it? Because they can't live with they self. It's a psychological thing, y'all. See, the psychological thing is that executive is going to ruin you. He's going to control you. And it's going to be where when he's done with you, you won't even be able to think for yourself. That's how you become a child. You become a little female, and that's what it is. And this is where it all started from. All right, so that's why you're going to see. Music does it all. Fast forward to rap. Now you'll see anybody that's been dealing with rap music too long, or in that game, especially in that game, look at every celebrity. Somehow they can't keep a woman. You ought to count on one hand how many celebrities married, for real. All right. Then look at how music always promoted certain things, opposite of marriage. So the way it was always promoted was, especially rap, you ain't supposed to be together. But it also created a behavior where the average man can't think clear and he has problems. This also shows the bisexual man because Frankie got flipped. See the pink in the back? He got flipped. He was bisexual. So he had woman problems. All in the movie. Thank you very much. See? He had female problems because he couldn't tell her they abused him. He couldn't tell him he was getting abused and he sold out for that money. No, they were ragging him, y'all. That's what they did, especially back then. Especially back then. And you're going to see that manager, he just like, man, you like him? You want him? He ready to get his cut. He ready to get his cut so he can be up out of there. I did my part. I went and found the boys. Here you go. All right? And that man with that cigarette, you got to watch the movie to see the lust. You got to watch the movie, how they show you the code of how he was lusting off that man, off that, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be a young teenager. Whatever he's supposed to be, you're going to see, they show you in the movie how he was lusting off him. He couldn't wait to get some of him. Yup, he couldn't wait. Right there, he was looking all in his mouth. He was smiling like, yeah, I like him. All in the movie, y'all. So that's why it's like that. See? It showed the naiveness of the fool. It showed that they wanted to be superstars so bad. They also knew back then people wanted to be superstars and get out their ghetto. They also knew that they would have all these rehearsals, all these different things, and these would be pipelines and disguises of them having events to be able to touch on those fresh boys from the neighborhood. And that's what they did. And you always will see back, ever since back then, it was always the black celebrity. Oh, no, excuse me. It was always the poor communities that were way more wrapped up into entertainment. So when I try to do these things without race, it's hard because this is so many different things of this black and white stuff and this separation, and people are raised different, people taught different, everybody's different. But with the black people, they knew stuff like being that they were poor. This is where that fantasy stuff started. They understood that poor people will always be more wrapped up in the TV and believe what they see more. And they also knew that poor people will always find their escape through the TV. People that have been abused will always find their escape through the TV. They always knew that. That's where the fantasy stuff coming in. Where I'm in my house, we don't have nothing. I'm getting my ass beat. Family getting beat. We ain't got nothing. And the only happiness I got is when I turn on that TV and I see happy homes. I see happy locations. I want to be there. I want to get away. I got to get away from this stuff. That's where it all comes from. But they knew that. That's why I say that community whole life was a psychological event of trauma and control. All right? And false belief. So this is after the deal. The executive makes his pick. This is what I wanted to show you. I know it's grainy footage, but that's how the footage was portrayed. The group was called the Teenagers. The black man went and found the teenagers. Black man got them signed. So when I said there's a lot of people behind this stuff, that's how it worked. The black man got his cut, selling black boys. It was black men in these neighborhoods selling black children. Yup, disguised as stuff. So he sold them, and then he got his cut. He was gone. But the most important part you will see, the executive, the one that signed the contract, pink shirt. None of them got on pink. Nobody else got on pink but him. But it's showing you, when he's done with them, they're going to be pink. Now let's go. Movie Decode, let's close out. The executive makes them pink. It's the executive. For that contract, they're going to have all the fun they want. So when everybody's talking about Diddy and his lifestyle, his behavior, just know Diddy went through that procedure. It happened to him. It could have been worse for him. We talking about everybody getting it bad. It could have been worse for him. But we don't know what they did to Diddy. Get it? We don't know what they did to him. Because there's a procedure that in 2025 people don't want to accept, but that's what's really going to make you stupid. I'm talking about it's going to really make you incompetent because it's the procedure of everybody. Pick one. Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, pick one. Alicia Keys was Clyde. Yeah. Whatever they want, they're going to have. It has always been like that. So part of the whole thing is when he wrote a book and said in his own book that he was bi, that's when I got it clear. That's what cracked a lot of codes. That was one of the main things that cracked the code far on the executive end. When Clyde said that he was bi, I got, that's how they be getting them deals like that. I put in my head back then, so he got Diddy. That was decades ago. Man wrote the book, so like I keep saying, whose fault is it that most people don't read? Most people were picking and choosing their information. So much information that's come out, but being that your information has been handpicked and favorited, everything of truth has went in your face and passed you. So in 2025, it is people still with this incompetent mentality that they don't want to comprehend that these people never ran the industry. Black entertainment was nothing but a universal soul circus. You had the real circus, universal soul circus. Same thing, y'all. It's all it ever was. It's the executive that likes what he likes. And that's why you're going to see Diddy been around since he was young. Brandy was signed to him since young. Ray J, young. Whitney Houston, young. Alicia Keys, young. It also shows in the movie, when you get old, they don't want to do with you no more. All right? Because when he was like that, he said to his face, Frankie Lymon, yo, you washed up. He said, you're not a little pretty kid no more. Straight like that in the movie. You're not a little pretty kid no more. You're old. You're washed up and you're a drug head. Get out of here. Yup. After they rag and tag and abuse their ass. After they the ones put them on the drugs. Yup. But see, that's how they do it too. I'm telling you, it's a procedure, man. Part of the procedure is back then, they're going to make sure you're on drugs when you finish. So you ain't going to be able to tell. You ain't going to be able to sue, right? None of that stuff. Yeah, you ain't never going to be able to tell what we did to you when you was 14, 13. Get it? Usher, Justin Bieber. You get it? Huh? Usher, Justin Bieber. You getting it now? Keke Palmer, all the young stars. It's set up where they ain't never going to tell anyway. That's right. This is where it starts. But that is supposed to be a man by the name of Adam Levy, a real executive. This whole thing is based on a real true story. All right? So it's the executives, y'all. It's like this, y'all. You see his friend? If his friend want to have fun, that's what they're going to do. If they taking Jay-Z somewhere, that's what they're going to do. All right? That's how you become the favorite in that game, y'all. There's no other way around it. You don't become the favorite of no talent in that game. You become the favorite if they like you. Frankie Lymon was in the group. Didn't mean nothing. He liked him, and he wanted him. Because they also knew, record deal is how I could have my little boyfriend. That's what it was. The legitimate way for them to have a boyfriend was you get somebody young and you put them in a record deal. That makes it normal. The contract is the marriage. And you apply that to Diddy and Cassie when they told you she was 19, allegedly. All right? Everything in black entertainment I can relate to Diddy because it's all together, it's all the same. He's just the 2025 version. Right there, you're looking at the 50s, 60s version. There was no such thing as no black man in no seat. There was no such thing as no man getting in trouble for abusing another man at all. Nope. They didn't get in trouble for abusing nobody. So, even to this day, a lot of y'all were trained to always talk about the Klan. But did you know that those white executives back in the day, they abused blacks way more than the Klan? Way more. Way more. They abused them all sexually. You just think about how them rich men was taking them black women head and pushing it down whenever they felt like it. Telling them bend over whenever they felt like it. Huh? Pass it around, run the train whenever they felt like it. And going hard, no, not sparing them. And beating on them. And taking their money, jerking them. No, those executives abuse your people more than any other organization you ever thought of. The most thing that ever abused all your people was the music industry. They did more abuse than any Klan, period, or any Nazi group. You just didn't know it yet. No. They the ones put out that frequency because y'all didn't know they were magicians. Y'all didn't know they were magicians and music is their magic. All right? Frankie Lymon and the teenagers. See, the group, teenagers, Geppetto, guys. You know what they were doing to the teenagers? And the teenagers were black and Puerto Rican, y'all. Yes, they were. All right? And now I want you to see how they also will make them pose. Make it look like they humping on each other. See? See how Frankie Lymon right there, the man behind him, Frankie laid back. They make it look like they humping on each other. See Frankie Lymon right there. See the one in front, the two in the front, make it look like they privates are touching. And then make it look like the one to the left, humping him from the back, humping him from the back. This is what I told you. A lot of people became grown to be freaky and super horny back in the day through these covers. And they would did this all psychological stuff. Yeah, because this is how they did it. See, Frankie Lymon, he was a grown man, y'all, but he was young. He was small. He was smaller than Bow Wow. So you know what they was doing with him, right? Look at Frankie Lymon. You will see they turned James Brown into Frankie Lymon. It's always been the same procedure, y'all. Same procedure. James Brown was short, same thing. Prince, same thing. Same thing. All right? Only way you was going to be in front of them those white women, you was going to be straight feminine to this day. See how small he was? Mind you, the group was called the teenagers, and they were all getting dealt with. But the rest of them left Frankie. And when because remember, the owners, the executives said he just want him. Get it? Now look at it now. I want them. I want him. See it? You see it now? He didn't want to sign a group. He wanted Frankie. And when he was done with Frankie, Frankie was a dope head. It's like they was in a relationship. Frankie would always come back for some money. But once Frankie turned out junkie and talking smoke, next thing you know, Frankie got found. He got found slumped, overdose. Same thing I told about to this day, Whitney Houston. Well, Frankie Lymon was the first Whitney Houston. See how small he was, y'all? So you know they took advantage of him in that game, right? Why Do Fools Fall in Love movie Decode. It's called Why They Fall in Love with the Industry. But the movie gonna be based on they fall in love with each other. But nah, it really was about this. them trying to get Frankie's estate. So you heard about Tupac don't own his estate, and a lot of rappers don't own their estate. That's what this movie about. Fighting for his estate. Even though the executive only offered him $15,000, it was proven in court he made $4 million. But when it was all said and done, they still only wound up getting that $15,000 payout. And they were showing us in this game that the industry was going to run it, the industry was going to win. So let's bring it up to Diddy. If the industry wants Diddy gone, he's going to be gone. If the industry wants to spare Diddy, he'll be spared. And that's how it's going to be. But it's always going to be humiliation. So that's why once they get broken down, like once everybody sees Diddy with all this gray hair, that means he's immortal, and that means he's not on that level no more. Because that means the executives took their hands off of him. All right? Those are the real giants. And those giants pick you up, and they make you big. That's it. And when they drop you, you're going to shatter. So this is just an episode of Movie Decode. I'll be back with a live, y'all, for Sunday. Other than that, we're going to close out and get out of here. 1.